former President Joe Biden. They have since been overturned by President Trump.
If you're thinking about buying a home this year, well, now might be the best time to do it. Recent research by financial company LendingTree found January has the lowest price per square foot and is about 8% cheaper compared to May. This could possibly save home buyers around $23,000 on a typical 1,500 square foot home.
Good Day Chicago at 8 starts now.
Developing now at 8, another shooting involving federal agents. Tensions growing nationwide. We're live in Minneapolis, where officials are demanding answers.
We're also live here locally as volunteers head out in hopes of finding a Chicago Public Schools teacher now missing for nearly a week.
Plus, here it is. The Bears make their final preparations ahead of their biggest game of the season. The divisional round is on the line.
Let's take you outside. A very different scene from just a couple of hours ago. No rain. But talk about a mess. Torrential rain flooding major roads from Chicago into the suburbs. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Oh, well, I guess we'll talk about it now. This is video from the Dan Ryan at 31st Street.
Yeah, obviously very slow going as drivers work to navigate all that water. The rain came down fast, leaving many with no other option but to just go through it. Although people, if you do have an option, turn around. This is what it looked like further south in Cicero. This is an option where you probably likely could have turned around. These drivers got stuck. The water was so high, it stalled their cars out, and they were forced to get out and push them.
And as Gabby said, you know, earlier, Caitlin, if you're on the interstate, you can't turn around.
You have no choice.
Especially because that was the local lanes, right? Where they have that barrier
on the Dan Ryan, right?
Yeah. So I was thinking maybe like the left shoulder could have been an option. I don't know. If you're ever in that situation, just try to at least guess where it might be less water.
Right. I would say away from the sides because of the way that they build those roads, right?
Yeah.
So the water flows to the sides. So maybe try to get into the middle, but that is just a dangerous situation out there. We had record rainfall yesterday, and this morning we are drying out in the city, but we still have a little bit of drizzle out there and some light rain coming down for our northwestern counties. I'm talking about McHenry, DeKalb County, Kane County getting in on a little bit of rain. We also have this aerial flood advisory still in place for about another 30 minutes, including Chicago, all the way down to northern portions of Will County, Joliet, DuPage County included in this because you may still see some standing water this morning. With the radar, you can see, though, generally quiet conditions outside of a little bit of drizzle for us in Chicago, stretching down to Will County, and that light rain coming down in McHenry and DeKalb. Big story for today, dropping temperatures, cold conditions this weekend, and the chance for snow on our Bears game day. A full check of your forecast is ahead.
Thank you, Caitlin. The family of a missing Chicago Public Schools teacher hopes a new clue will bring her home.
Roseanne is live as volunteers kick off a new search effort happening this morning. Good morning, Roseanne.
Good morning. We haven't seen anybody yet, but the search, we're told, is giving this area top priority, 31st Street Beach. And the reason is because her family says that they found her vehicle. Police told them they found her vehicle at 35th and Lake Park Avenue, along with the biggest clue yet. And that was video of her getting out of her car and walking away, reportedly over the pedestrian bridge, then never returning. The special education teacher from Healy Elementary School in Bridgeport has been missing 6 days. Her husband said the two watched a movie Friday, then Saturday morning she was gone, he thought, to her acupuncture appointment, but she never made it there or home. Her husband said while she has faced mental health challenges, she's never just taken off before. Earlier this week, her husband pleaded for her to come home.
We watched the movie Friday night, and she went to bed before I did. I stayed up a little later. She was in the bed when I went to bed. When I woke up at 8:35, she was gone.
Did she take anything?
She didn't take anything. She took her purse, credit cards, but I'm thinking she was at acupuncture. If you watching this, please come home. Your family is missing you. I'm missing you. Your friends are missing you. Linda, we need you to come home, baby. Seriously, we need you to come home.
Okay, back live now. Again, the search is giving priority to 31st Street Beach. I do see this public safety vehicle. I think you could probably see the lights behind the tall grass there. That just arrived. I don't know if it is part of the search. We have not seen any people yet, but we do understand it's expected to begin within the hour here at 31st Street Beach. But the search is going to focus on both sides of Lakeshore Drive because, again, her car was found over at 35th Street. That's by the pedestrian bridge. So there's some area to cover and hopefully a lot of volunteers to pitch in. Certainly a lot of friends and family have been agonizing over this missing teacher for 1 week now. Back to you in the studio.
It is such a heartbreaking story. Thank you, Roseanne. Developing this morning, another shooting involving federal immigration officers, this time in Portland, Oregon. The Department of Homeland Security says Customs and Border Protection agents were stopping a vehicle allegedly carrying undocumented immigrants with suspected gang ties. And that's when the agency claims the pair tried to run agents over. They were both shot. They are in the hospital. Meantime, the Oregon governor is demanding answers.
And I am aligned with the mayor. The priority right now is a full, completed investigation, not more detentions.
This comes as protests in Minneapolis grow after an ICE agent shot and killed a woman by the name of Renee Good. Agents say she was trying to run them over at the time.
And meanwhile, we're learning the ICE agent accused of shooting Good was involved in another incident just months ago. Officer Jonathan Ross was dragged 50 yards in Bloomington, Minnesota back in June of last year. Now, court documents say Ross was part of a team trying to arrest a man who was in the United States illegally. Ross broke a window and reached into the car to try to open the door when the driver sped off. Tensions in Minneapolis continue to grow following this latest shooting. Federal authorities and the Trump administration say the agent followed his training, but a number of local leaders are arguing against those claims. Connor Hansen is live in Minneapolis with the latest. Connor.
Well, we're standing right here on that very same block where the deadly shooting happened on Wednesday. Earlier this morning, we watched as Minneapolis police showed up in full tactical gear and sort of cleared out the street of any debris and a makeshift barrier that protesters had set up blocking the road here, Portland Avenue, heading into the city. There's now still a police presence, which we didn't see yesterday. So far, no sign of protesters coming back to this spot.
That woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation.
As the FBI continues its investigation, Vice President J.D. Vance says 37-year-old Renee Good's death is a tragedy of her own making, echoing the Department of Homeland Security, saying the ICE agent who shot and killed her Wednesday in Minneapolis did so out of self-defense. This comes after federal officials accuse Good of trying to slam her car into the officer.
That very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg.
But some local leaders in Minnesota say they don't fully buy the federal reports and are urging the thousands of ICE officers in the state to leave.
I will let those that want to push out false narratives, to slander or defame Renee Good, Minnesotans will tell her life story.
Vigils and calls for action are picking up steam nationwide.
Say her name! Renee Good!
Just one day after the incident in Minneapolis, the FBI was investigating another shooting Thursday in Portland, Oregon, where 2 people were injured. DHS says a Border Patrol agent also fired in self-defense after an alleged gang member tried to run them over before fleeing the scene.
And back here in Minneapolis, we're told the mayor, Jacob Frey, plans to hold a news conference in about an hour. At the same time, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is calling for today to be a day of unity, and he wants people to observe a moment of silence later this morning. Natalie, Gabriella.
Connor Hansen, live in Minneapolis. Thank you. And the shooting has resonated here in Chicago as it has significant parallels with 2 different local cases. In October, an ICE agent shot Marimar Martinez during a protest in Brighton Park. She was charged with felony assault before her case completely fell apart in court. Her attorney spoke with our Paris Schutz about the similarities.
It's nearly identical, and they're running the same playbook they ran on Miramar Martinez, right? From the jump, they have turned the word protester, which is something we used to celebrate in this country, and have referred to this woman as a domestic terrorist. They're trying to shape the narrative in the same way, and everybody should be extremely cautious.
The Justice Department eventually dropped the charges against Martinez. The month before she was shot, federal agents shot and killed Silverio Villegas Gonzalez during a traffic stop in Franklin Park for allegedly fleeing agents.
A federal judge in Chicago is delaying a decision to dismiss a lawsuit limiting federal agents' use of force following that shooting in Minneapolis. The Chicago Sun-Times reports Judge Sarah Ellis was expected to end the case, but changed her mind, telling lawyers she wants to do more research before making a decision. The next hearing on the case is set for January 22nd. All right, Caitlin, we were talking about how it felt like winter to spring to summer, and now we're going back to winter again with some of the snow that might be coming.
With very strong gusty winds, might I add. Yeah, it is a busy little stretch here ahead, and we do have big changes coming, so I want you to pay close attention to the forecast. First of all, we still have some light rain coming down, especially in portions of McHenry County, northern DeKalb County, Kane County. Some sprinkle activity possible for us in Chicago, points south. We also have that flood advisory still in place for the city, stretching all the way out to DuPage County, northern Will County. So watch out for ponding and puddling on the roadways. Remember, if you can turn around, we encourage you to not try to drive through any standing water. You don't know how deep it is. But taking a look at the radar again, we do have that light to perhaps moderate, where we have that darker green shade, rain coming down, especially along that Wisconsin border. But the winds, I mentioned how it is gusty. Right now we're seeing winds gusting to 48 miles per hour in Gary, 34 at O'Hare, 38 at Midway. This wind is howling out there this morning. The winds are going to die down, but the temperatures are going to get colder today. Right now we are sitting at 43 degrees at the lakefront, 41 at O'Hare. Remember, our high already happened this morning. That's when we were at 60. Right now, the upper 30s from Waukegan to Woodstock. So unfortunately, we're not holding on to the mild weather. In fact, we have the chance for snow moving in tonight as well as tomorrow. A full check of your forecast is ahead.
All right, thank you, Caitlin. Bears and Packers will be to the playoffs tomorrow night for just the third time.
The anticipation is growing. It's also their third time meeting in just over 30 days. They're very familiar with each other. Several Packers players have made it known that they wanted to play the Bears in the playoffs. Packers wide receiver Christian Watson said they have a chance to end the Bears season, and that means a lot. Bears wide receiver DJ Moore had this to say.
They always chirping. It's always like some talking going on somewhere, somehow, during the game, before the game, always. And, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the rivalry, it speaks for itself.
You can watch the Packers and Bears game on Saturday at 7 p.m. right here on Fox Chicago. Our coverage begins with Bears Game Day Live at 12:30. And stay with us on Fox Chicago, because after the game, we've got full post-game coverage on your home of the Bears. We are celebrating today in anticipation. It is Orange Friday, and we appreciate all of these amazing photos that you've sent in.
Yeah, we have some good-looking viewers, don't we, Nat? All right, more weather next, but first, your 7-day forecast.
What are you girls doing?
We're doing all the heating, plumbing, and electric around here.
All right, I know you girls know stuff, but let's leave it to our trusted local experts. Let's call Four Seasons.
It's about time you figured it out.
Whether it's heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, air duct cleaning, or generators, you can always trust Four Seasons.
For all the right reasons, call 866-4 Seasons.
Luigi Mangione is back in federal court today as his attorneys fight to exclude key evidence and keep the death penalty off the table.
The 27-year-old is accused of shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, if you remember, in December 2024 outside a New York City hotel. Kaylee Schuyler is live outside of that courtroom in New York with more. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Natalie and Gabriella. So the status conference is expected to start at 11 a.m. Eastern, and the defense is trying to the defense is trying to get 2 counts thrown out of Mangione's. One is murder with the use of a firearm. That would make Mangione eligible for the death penalty. They also want another firearm offense dismissed. The hearing is expected to last at least an hour because the judge has asked both sides to prepare oral arguments about the defense's motion to dismiss those counts. The defense is arguing Attorney General Pam Bondi has a conflict of interest because of her previous work for a lobbying firm that represents United Healthcare's parent group. Mangione's lawyers say those ties should disqualify Bondi from making decisions about the death penalty, but the prosecution says there is no conflict of interest. Mangione's team is also asking the judge for an evidentiary hearing to toss out some of the key evidence prosecutors want to use against him, including the suspected murder weapon and a notebook police found inside Mangione's backpack when they arrested him in Altoona, Pennsylvania. The defense says police searched the backpack without a warrant. Now, we're not expecting to get any rulings from the bench today from the judge, but we are expecting to learn more about a potential trial date here when court starts in about 2 hours. In New York, Kaylee Schuyler, Fox 32, Chicago.
Kaylee, thank you. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court will kick off issuing rulings for the new year, and tariffs could be at the top of the agenda. The case focuses on whether the president has the authority to impose tariffs under an emergency law that was passed nearly 50 years ago. Legal and trade analysts say if the court rules that he does not have that power, the U.S. may be forced to refund more than $133.5 billion in tariffs to importers. The court may also issue an opinion on the legality of President Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. We're going to be following all of this live for you, and we'll bring it to you when it happens.
Developing this morning, Russia has fired a new hypersonic missile at Ukraine in a massive overnight strike. The Orshnik is a nuclear-capable missile that can hit multiple targets. Russia says it's retaliation for an alleged attack on Vladimir Putin's residence last month, which Ukrainian officials have denied. This is video posted on X by Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky. He says at least 4 people were killed in the capital alone and that dozens of people have been injured. Zelensky reports that 20 buildings were damaged and says Russia used 242 drones, 13 ballistic missiles, and 22 cruise missiles in the attack. Months of U.S.-led peace efforts have failed to stop the fighting. Anti-government protests are spreading in Iran. Human rights organizations say demonstrations are happening in more than 100 cities there. More than 2,000 protesters have been arrested and dozens have been killed. Internet service was cut off last night as leadership tried to put an end to the demonstrations.
Back here on Capitol Hill, the Senate is advancing a resolution that would limit President Trump's ability to carry out further attacks against Venezuela. Democrats and 5 Republicans held a test vote to advance the War Powers Resolution. They were trying to ensure a future vote for final passage. But keep in mind here, even if it does pass, it would still need President Trump's signature to become law.
Meanwhile, the House has passed a bill to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies. The issue was at the heart of last fall's 6-week government shutdown. The bill extends subsidies for 3 years, which could help lower premiums that spiked on January 1st for around 22 million Americans. Some Republicans joined Democrats to vote the measure through, but others still aren't on board.
Cancel the cuts, lower the cost, save health care. That's our objective.
Obamacare has been a disaster, and I think doubling down on the things that haven't worked isn't the answer.
The legislation now heads to the Senate. There's been another shooting involving federal immigration officers, this time in Portland, Oregon.
The Department of Homeland Security says Customs and Border Protection agents were stopping a vehicle allegedly carrying undocumented immigrants with suspected gang ties. And that is when the agency claims the pair tried to run agents over. They were both shot. They are currently in the hospital.
And here locally, torrential rain created a huge mess for drivers across Chicago overnight. This is what it looked like on the Dan Ryan. It came down fast, leaving many drivers with no other option but to just go through it.
And the Bears getting ready to meet the Packers in the playoffs tomorrow night. You can watch the game at 7 p.m. right here on Fox Chicago. Our coverage begins with Bears Game Day Live at 12:30.
I'm excited. We're going to have some weather whiplash, though, before we get to that game. Caitlin, what are we expecting for this weekend?
It's going to be cold, and we have the chance for some snow tomorrow. Unfortunate timing for the Bears game, but it'll still be a good game. Talking about the weather this morning, though, we still have some light rain coming down in portions of Chicago, mostly just drizzle, some light showery activity closer to the Wisconsin line. I'm talking about McHenry County, Lake County, DeKalb County are getting in on some light rain, Kane County too. But the rain is going to be moving out and temperatures are going to be cooler than they were earlier this morning. We hit 60 at midnight. In the meantime, right now we're sitting at 41 at the lakefront, 41 at O'Hare, 39 in Waukegan, 38 in DeKalb. So let's take you through your day. Our futurecast this afternoon showing temperatures rebounding perhaps to the mid-40s. 3:45, we have quiet conditions. The wind is going to be dying down too, by the way. I know this morning it is very gusty. You could probably hear it whistling outside. By this evening, 7:15, temperatures down into the 30s. And then tonight and into early tomorrow, we have the potential for mixed precipitation. I'm talking about a rain-snow mix. And then transitioning over to snow in the middle of the day. You can see 11:30 lunchtime, temperatures hovering in the mid to upper 30s with that light snow coming down. So the good news is, even though we do have the potential for snow, we're not expecting much for accumulation, under an inch of accumulation expected. 4:45 on your Saturday evening, and mostly dry conditions, just a few spotty light snow showers here or there. 9 o'clock, temperatures hovering at about 30. So again, for the game, I would dress for the upper 20s and low 30s if you are going to be going to the game in person. It is going to be a chilly weekend ahead, but next week, the 40s return. I'll show you that on your full forecast coming up. Gabby.
All right, thank you, Caitlin. Bears fans, they were issued a challenge, and they did not disappoint with the result. We show you the best of the Ben Johnson look-alike contest coming up.
Every business.
Welcome back. As part of that one big beautiful bill, you can deduct your car loan this tax filing season.
But here's the thing, not all loans qualify. Here's the deal. If you buy a new vehicle made in the U.S. between now and 2028, you can deduct up to $10,000 a year in auto loan interest. But get this, there's no itemization needed for those taxes to get the windfall. It's an above-the-line deduction, meaning it's available to families taking the standard deduction as well. By giving buyers incentive to choose American, the administration is looking to boost domestic manufacturing after a tough year on tariffs.
It's about putting more money in people's pockets. And when people have money, they spend money. When they spend money, the economy grows. So it's a wonderful cycle.
You probably get where I'm going here, though. It has to be an American-made vehicle. The IRS is expected to release the full list of qualifying models later this month. And if you want to get your taxes filed early, the 2026 tax filing season officially begins on January 26th when the IRS starts accepting 2025 returns. The deadline to file without a penalty is April 15th. Experts warn those staffing cuts at the IRS could slow processing this year. The agency expects about 164 million returns, with refunds possibly larger under new tax laws.
President Trump is ordering Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to start buying bonds backed by mortgages. Trump says the $200 billion sale will help make housing more affordable. In the past year, the Federal Reserve has purchased mortgage bonds in an effort to lower rates, but the executive branch cannot order the central bank to do it.
Governor Pritzker says he is hoping to make energy more affordable for families in Illinois by signing the Clean and Reliable Grid Affordability Act. The governor says it'll help keep residents' energy bills low by making adjustments to state programs. It also gives the state time to reject any decisions to raise rates.
It was important to us. There's no time to waste in the race to make electric bills more affordable. CRGA puts everyone in the game, truly all of us in the game, to battle against higher energy prices.
The law allows for the building of more nuclear power plants as well as solar and wind energy generation. Lawmakers say residents can eventually expect to save hundreds of dollars on their utility bills.
Some good old-fashioned fun for Bears fans in Bedford Park. Ahead of Saturday's big game, they participated in a Ben Johnson look-alike contest. Now, plenty of fans showed up. You can see them here, young and old. Most had the signature Bears hat, hoodie, and headset. And like you saw, some even took off their shirt.
We want to do something really community-oriented, fun, family-friendly, and see who can get the most creative with their Coach Johnson look-alike for the good, better, and best prizes.
I love it, guys. The winner of the contest took home a $1,000 Visa gift card. From football to baseball, it's the final day of tryouts for the Chicago Snowballs, and you can watch. The Savannah Bananas-inspired baseball team is giving the public a sneak peek at its new talent and its Snow Globe benefit from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Dome today. Tickets are $15 a person. All the proceeds go towards local youth sports organizations, the Bay Chicago, Lost Boys Inc., and Radcliffe Youth Sports. The season opener is May 3rd at Kerrywood Cubs Field.
And I love that men and women can try out,
Me too,
right?
yeah.
Yes, lots of opportunities. It's lights, camera, and action for Chicago Theater Week. Dozens of shows at a fraction of the cost. Choose Chicago here to raise the curtain on the top acts that you won't want to miss. Caitlin?
And we still have some standing water out there from heavy rainfall yesterday into last night. Today, a drying trend, but temperatures are going to be cooler in the 40s. This weekend, I'm talking about the 30s and the chance for snow. Your Bears forecast is coming up. First, though, speaking of the Bears, Jake, what are you doing?
Caitlin, Cody, exactly right. We are live at Carmel Catholic High School, where they are getting to bear down because they have a former Bears legend here at school leading the football program to victory. We're going to talk with him and his elite quarterback who has a legendary career ahead of him. All of that and more coming up next right here on Good Day Chicago.
Fox Local, your best way to stream.
The Chicago Bears had a successful season, but for many players, it's about finding success on and off the field.
So Jake is live with a former player making a big difference in our community. Hey, Jake.
That's right, guys. You know, I think all schools in our area are feeling the Bears fever. They're getting ready to bear down tomorrow night. But here at Carmel Catholic High School, I think they're feeling it just a little bit more because their football program is led by this guy right here, Bears legend, former player, Jason McKee, fullback. Now, it's so funny. I was talking with Jason earlier, and I used the term Bears legend. He said, just a fullback, just a fullback. I said, you cannot put just and fullback in the same sentence. First of all, thank you for taking the time, man. Good to see you. How you feeling?
Feeling good. Thanks for coming. You know, another great opportunity for the Bears, obviously facing the Packers on Saturday. A Saturday night game in front of a live audience. You know, the nation will be watching. Another opportunity for the Bears to get a victory and move on in the playoffs.
Talk to me about some of the lessons that you learned on that field that you're now able to pass down to the next generation.
Yeah, you know, playing football at the highest level really teaches you how to be a man, how to be a pro. You've got to make a lot of sacrifice, and that's some things that myself and my staff are trying to implement in these kids, right? To be great, you got to make a lot of sacrifices, right? And if you want to be great, you can't be average, so you can't do what's required. You got to do more than what's required. So, and that's on and off the field. And the good thing is that we have a lot of high character individuals who are good young men who happen to be good football players, and us as a staff, we're trying to implement something in their lives that they can take with them for the rest of their lives, and that's bigger than just us developing them into being good football players.
You know, to that point, there's that old expression about when you get to the top, you got to know when to send the elevator back down. I got to imagine it's the most fulfilling feeling for you to be able to take everything that you learned and know that all those lessons that you learned are going to continue to spread throughout the generations because of all these kids that you're teaching.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. You get to be a blessing and, and groom young men into men through the game that I love, through the game of football. And there's so many life lessons that you learn playing this game that translate to life. And that's what we get to do on a daily basis. We're around these kids more than their parents, so we play a huge role in shaping their lives. So it's very important to us.
Speaking of shaping lives, Coach Johnson has Caleb Williams. You got your own special weapon right here at Carmel Catholic High School. A young man who I think has a pretty legendary career ahead of him. You want to introduce who we got?
Yeah, we got our all-conference, all-state quarterback, Trey Taylor, who's...
Come on over here, man. Come on. Who's been waiting very patiently. So you're just going to wait right off camera. It's going to be a great introduction. Good morning, Trey. How you feeling, man?
Feeling good. How about you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. Talk to me about what it's like having a former Bear sort of kind of give you not just lessons about what to do on the field, but maybe just life lessons too.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's amazing. Coach McKee and Coach Davis, the other Bears player, they've been amazing. They've definitely guided me in the right direction. They have been to the highest level, and that's where I want to go. So as long as I keep following their path, I know I'll be able to get there.
Well, I think you're heading in the right direction because you have a certain symbol right over your heart right there. Tell me about who you've committed to.
Yeah, I committed to the University of Nebraska.
All right, so how are you feeling about that? Was it a tough decision? I'd imagine you had a lot of people knocking on your door.
It definitely was a tough decision, but I feel great about it. It was definitely, I feel like, the best decision for me and the best fit for me where I can go and be successful.
All right, before we get to the Bears game, which of course is tomorrow night right here on Fox 32, I do want to give Trey a shout out because he has got kind of doing a little bit of everything. He's interested in broadcast guys, which I think he's a born natural, I think.
He is.
But he's also got a podcast. Tell people about your podcast.
Yeah, so my podcast is Beyond the Hashes with one of the other Nebraska commits, Antavius Ellis. So it's really just everything but football. That's why it's Beyond the Hashes. So we bring on other recruits, other kids that we like to talk to, and we just really talk about anything but football.
I'm in. So you got a subscriber at least right here. All right, guys, I got to ask you. I'm going to put you on the spot. Tomorrow night, the big game. We're all going to be watching. I've blown off plans to be able to make sure that I'm watching tomorrow night. I think the question isn't whether or not we're going to beat the Packers, but by how much. How are you guys feeling?
I'm feeling, to be honest, a little uneasy. Sure. It's tough to beat, you've played these guys before. You're one-on-one right now. This is the rubber match. So I think the Bears have to start fast on both sides of the ball if they want to be efficient and come out on top tomorrow.
Love that. Trey, you've got the perspective of what it means to be a quarterback. What do you think Caleb's got to do out on that field to find success?
Honestly, I have no clue. I haven't been following the Bears or the Packers. But
who you been following, Trey?
Really the Cowboys, to be honest. So
you had one job to do. You had one job to do, man.
But nah, I think just stay composed and deliver the ball to not the other team. So
there you go. All right, guys. As we wrap up here at Carmel Catholic High School, Coach, I'm going to ask you. They often say sometimes you can find greatness later in life. Sometimes, you see those Disney movies about the guy who, gets to play in the pros or gets his shot a little bit later. You're looking at a nearly 40-year-old man. Is there a part of you that looks at me and thinks, the kid's got it?
Yeah, man, if you could be a punter, maybe a kicker. No disrespect to those guys. No disrespect to my guy down.
What about
the divider?
I want to be like a fullback or defensive.
Play fullback. We can get you in there. You go up against a 250-pound linebacker. That's pretty challenging.
But I got a can-do attitude, and that goes a long way.
But can you do it repeatedly? That's the thing.
I can do one thing. You like a line shot. You do it one time.
One set enough.
All right, guys, we're live here at Carmel Catholic High School. Not only are they feeling the Bears fever, they're getting ready to bear down. They got a former Bear leading the way, guys. Congratulations on everything, Trey. Good luck this season, man. All right, guys, sending it back to you guys in the studio. You heard it. I mean, my interpretation of that is, Jake, you got what it takes.
You got what it takes to be the mascot, Jake, and I'm going to have to draw the line there, I think.
The mascot.
My FB's breaking up. Can't hear you. All I heard was, yes, Jake, I support you.
I'm sorry.
Jake, we'll give you a big hug when you get back. Sorry about that, buddy.
Okay. Don't forget, you can watch the Bears and Packers, The Real Professionals, this Saturday at 7 p.m. right here on Fox Chicago. Our coverage begins with the Bears Game Day Live at 12:30. So you got your lunchtime plans, and then stay with us because after the game, we've got full post-game coverage on your home of the Chicago Bears.
All right. And Caitlin, obviously the game isn't only about football. It's also about some food, too. Tailgating. That might be a little tricky. Sitting in the stands is one thing, watching the game, but tailgating before the game, cooking up stuff with some snow might be kind of annoying.
Do you remember a couple weeks back, the Bears game was so cold that they couldn't get the ketchup or mustard out of the condiments section? Speaking of food, it's not going to be that cold, okay? It is going to be chilly, upper 20s, low 30s, but we're not going to have freezing ketchup out there. Radar showing some light rain coming down in a few spots. So from Chicago, this thin strip of green, Chicago stretching south into Will County, all the way down into northern Kankakee County. We also have some light rain coming down from Lake to McHenry to northern Kane County, DuPage County, northern Cook County. Some light rain for you too. But we are going to have a drying trend today. So once this rain moves out, we will have drier weather. Temperatures staying in the 40s in this afternoon. We're looking at the mid 40s right now, upper 30s and low 40s for most. 41 at the lakefront as well as O'Hare. 38 in Waukegan, 39 in DeKalb, 42 in Kankakee. So here's your futurecast to show. Again, we have that drying trend. The wind is going to be dying down. Temperatures staying cooler than we were earlier this morning when we hit 60 at midnight. Tomorrow we have a rain-snow mix turning over to some light snow showers. Luckily, by game time in the evening, 7 o'clock, we're going to have some light snow around, but we don't expect much, if any, accumulation. Under an inch of accumulating snowfall is expected for your Saturday, but the temperatures are going to be quite chilly. As I said, upper 20s, low 30s, so not unbearable as long as you're dressed the right way. Here's your Bears forecast. 33 at kickoff, halftime 31 and 28 degrees expected at the final. 7-day forecast, 32 is our high, freezing on Sunday. Monday 43. Then we have the chance for wet weather returning by the middle of next week with highs down to the mid 30s by Wednesday.
Okay, again, the football game is important, but also is the watch party. You got to be the hostess with the mostest. At 9, Portillo's shows us some special recipes to cook up before kickoff. We'll be right back.
It's the final word for Chicago.
Welcome back. The family of a missing Chicago public schools teachers hopes a new clue will bring her home.
Roseanne Tejas has been live for us all morning along the lakefront there. A volunteer kickoff is starting in just moments. And Roseanne, tell us about these new efforts.
Yes, we have seen searchers, and it is that clue that that started all of this. Police finding her car at 35th Street and Lake Park Avenue, and then video of her parking the car and seen leaving the car but never returning. With this new information, they did decide it was time for a search, and friends are definitely answering the call. So we did see a couple of people this morning starting their search at 31st Street Beach, but they also have been asked to show up to anywhere in Burnham Park and near the pedestrian bridge at 35th Street, all along the lakefront, and also in any grassy areas. People are asked to look. We also saw a Park District vehicle, not officially involved, but they tell us they're all keeping their eyes out for Linda Brown. She is 53 years old. She's a teacher at Healy Elementary in Bridgeport, a special education teacher, and her husband did tell us in the past that she has mental health issues. She has suffered from those, but has never disappeared like this before. One of the volunteer searchers told us why she stepped up today.
I knew her, I care about her, and I think people are still holding out hope. I know it doesn't look good, so I just thought that it would be important to come out here and feel helpful and just feel supportive and hope that she's found, or hope that there's at least some answers, because I think it's just been really rough for people not to have answers.
Agonizing is really what it has been for her family and friends. Her husband, who last saw her a week ago when they watched a movie last week on Friday night. And this woman said that the two were deeply in love, and this whole week, as we said, has been agonizing. So hoping for answers today. Will be out here as they continue their search this morning. Roseanne Tejas, Fox Chicago.
Such a sad story. Thank you, Roseanne. Hopefully, yes, they find some answers very soon with this. Switching gears, there's been another shooting involving federal immigration officers, this time in Portland, Oregon.
The Department of Homeland Security says Customs and Border Protection agents were stopping a vehicle allegedly carrying undocumented immigrants with suspected gang ties. And that's when the agency claims the pair tried to run agents over. They were both shot. They are both hospitalized.
Gosh, this torrential rain created a huge mess for drivers across Chicago overnight. This is what it looked like on the Dan Ryan. It came down fast, leaving many drivers with no other option but just to go through it.
Luckily, the rain has tapered off this morning, and the Bears are getting ready to meet the Packers in the playoffs tomorrow night. And you can watch the game at 7 p.m. right here on Fox Chicago. Our coverage begins with Bears Game Day Live at 12:30.
All right, 8:45. You know, guys, I went outside this morning and I was like, oh, thank goodness it stopped raining. But then I went outside. I'm like, I almost got whipped away by the wind. It was so windy out there. So do still people have to hold on to those hats if they're going out, their hoods even?
It's still gusty, absolutely. And I heard it this morning before leaving the house. I'm with you, Gabby. It's that wind that's loud. We're going to have those gusts slowly die down. We're still seeing 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts plus. But we have changes coming in the forecast, so let's talk about our weather headlines. First of all, dropping temperatures. Our high already happened for today, 60. The rest of the day is going to be in the 40s, so I expect the mid-40s this afternoon. We have a little bit of light rain out there now, but a drying trend is happening. And as I just mentioned, the wind is going to be dying down too. This weekend, temperatures are only going to be in the 30s. We have the chance for wet weather returning again tonight into tomorrow as a rain-snow mix, and then some light snow on your Saturday, which I'm just going to call it Bears Saturday. Light snow, meaning under an inch of accumulation, if at all expected. Satellite radar, though, as I said, we still have some light rain around from Chicago points north especially. We are going to have those gusty winds, and then this afternoon, finally, those are going to start to calm, too. Temperatures around the area are in the 30s and 40s. It's 41 degrees at the lakefront, 42 at Midway, and 45 in Gary. I see the upper 30s from Waukegan to Woodstock. And look at these winds, as mentioned, gusting, too, 48 miles per hour in Gary now. 38 miles per hour at Michigan City, as well as Midway, 25 miles per hour at O'Hare. Here's our day planner. Temperatures right around 44 degrees at 1, so lunchtime hour, mid-40s. But our 7-day forecast has that big drop off as we head into the weekend. Tomorrow's high only 37. Again, we're going to have some light snow around. A high of only freezing, though, on Sunday. Luckily, it will be a dry Sunday. We're going to have more sunshine. And then we start off next week with a mild couple of days. Monday and Tuesday, highs back to the low and mid-40s. And then we're back down to the 30s as we head to the middle of next week. It is 8:46. We have so much more ahead. Stay with us.
You're watching the Home.
Today, the U.S. Supreme Court will kick off issuing rulings for the new year, and tariffs could be at the top of that agenda. The case focuses on whether the president has the authority to impose tariffs under an emergency law that was passed nearly 50 years ago. Legal and trade analysts say if the court rules that he does not have the power, the U.S. may be forced to refund more than $133.5 billion in tariffs to importers. The court may also issue an opinion on the legality of President Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship. Now, we're going to be following this live. We're going to be looking at it very closely, and we'll bring it to you when it happens.
And happening overseas, anti-government protests are spreading in Iran. Human rights organizations say demonstrations are happening in more than 100 cities. More than 2,000 protesters have been arrested and dozens have been killed. Internet service was cut off last night as leadership tried to put an end to the growing protests. President Trump is ordering Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to start buying bonds backed by mortgages. Trump says the $200 billion sale will help make housing more affordable. In the past, the Federal Reserve has purchased mortgage bonds in an effort to lower rates, but the executive branch cannot order the central bank to do it.
Back here at home, Governor Pritzker says he is hoping to make energy more affordable for families in Illinois. And by doing that, he signed the Clean and Reliable Grid Affordability Act. Governor says it'll help keep residents' energy bills low by making adjustments to state programs. It also gives the state time to reject any decisions to raise rates.
It was important to us. There's no time to waste in the race to make electric bills more affordable. CRGA puts everyone in the game, truly all of us in the game, to battle against higher energy prices.
Other lawmakers say residents can eventually expect to save hundreds of dollars on their utility bills.
Some good old-fashioned fun for Bears fans of Bedford Park ahead of Saturday's big game. They participated in a Coach Ben Johnson look-alike contest. Now, plenty of fans showed up. There's one taking off their shirt, young and old. Most had the signature Bears hat and hoodie and headset on. And yeah, of course, you know, they had to picture the abs and do a little comparison there too. Just kidding. But here's what they had to say.
We want to do something really community-oriented, fun, family-friendly, and see who can get the most creative with their Coach Johnson look-alike for the good, better, and best prizes.
And the winner of the contest took home a $1,000 Visa gift card and some other prizes as well. And now you said some tickets to the game.
I think that, I believe that's what they said. That because the whole idea behind the contest was it's so expensive to attend a Bears game. They wanted to kind of open up the fun to more people. Yeah. We've got more Good Day Chicago ahead, but first it is Orange Friday as we gear up for the big game against the Packers. And thank you for sending in all these amazing fan photos.
Stream Good Day Chicago.
Chicago Theater Week is back for another year, and that means top-notch productions at a fraction of the cost. Jason Lesnevich with Choose Chicago and Marissa Lynn Jones, the executive director of the League of Chicago Theaters, both here to talk about the biggest shows participating. You guys, thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Sure. So, Jason, I'm going to start with you. Explain, this is your 14th year, right, doing Theater Week. Explain what it is for folks who are not familiar.
Yeah, Theater Week is a program of the League of Chicago Theaters in partnership with Choose Chicago. It's a celebration of our amazing, vast, and diverse theater scene, and it's a great entry point into theater for anyone who may not be a regular theater goer, because tickets are $30, $15, or even less to 75 plus shows around the city. So it's an amazing opportunity to go see multiple shows during the 10 days, February 5th through the 15th this year.
Marissa, these have got to be a hot commodity. So, I mean, how soon do people need to act to get these tickets? And there's a limited number, I assume.
Yes, so go get your tickets today, chicagotheaterweek.com. We've already got some shows that are sold out. We're adding new tickets and shows every day.
Okay.
It's really a great time to experience something in person with family.
When does the Theater Week run?
It starts February 5th.
Okay.
And goes through the 15th. Tickets went on sale this Tuesday, though, the 6th, to give people, you know, about a month to plan and really pick their show. And there's overlap with Restaurant Week this year, so you can really have the ultimate dinner and show experience.
And Marissa, tell me about some of the hits that are going to be available for people to get tickets to.
Absolutely. We have shows in all different genres. So we have Kitty and the Beanstalk at Lifeline Theater, which is great for kids. If you want to see a show show with a twist on Jack and the Beanstalk. We have love stories, so Playback Theater Ensemble will bring your love story to stage with improv, so go check them out for your Valentine's Day show. We've got History. Collaboration Theater has Trial in the Delta, which is the story around Emmett Till and the trial that took place down in Mississippi. Pivot at Rivendell, which is about what happens when life throws you a bone, right? What happens when everything blows up and you still have to keep it in control. So different stories. And we've got shows like at Chicago Symphony Orchestra. They're doing a tribute to Marvin Gaye. Harris Theater has a lovely company from Brooklyn coming in and doing a dance review there as well. So there's something for everybody on stage and in every neighborhood and the suburbs as well.
And that's what I'm glad you mentioned, because I've been here and I grew up downstate, but I've been living in Chicago for like 13 years, and some of those theaters you mentioned I have not heard of. So what a great opportunity, Jason, to check out a theater that you might not be familiar with and then think, you know what, I'm going to come back here for another show.
Yeah, because of the entry level price point, I think 50% of the people last year went to that theater for the first time, which is amazing for theaters to get new audiences in. It gives Chicagoans an opportunity to explore new theaters. It's an amazing program. It's our 14th year, and so yes, please go out, support our theaters. They do great work. They tell amazing stories year round.
And the other good thing too, if you do have children, Marissa, we were just talking about our kids, you can probably find a show of any length. So if you've got a little one, you can find something that'll keep their attention span.
Absolutely. Highland Park Players is doing The Lion King Kids.
How cute.
And we also have The Enormous Crocodile at the Studebaker Theater. So you can look, and we have descriptions of each show and its time. So you'll be able to plan and, of course, support the restaurants in your local neighborhoods as well. Make a whole day of it. So I think that's a great opportunity for people to have experiences in person.
Where can people go, Jason, to get those tickets and for more information?
ChicagoTheaterWeek.com. It'll have all the shows. It's broken out by price, so you can look at the 30, the 15, or the less section and explore the shows, and you can book right there as well.
Do you have any favorites, Marissa?
Oh, I can't say favorites for the league, but I will say, see your local neighborhood shows. Chicago is known for storefront theater, and so you should really support different neighborhoods. Get out of your own neighborhood and go see what your other neighbors are doing.
Right. We are going to see The Enormous Crocodile, actually, Roald Dahl's at the Studebaker, and I've not been to that theater, so I'm excited to experience it with
it's amazing. Just recently renovated. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you both so much for coming in.
Thank you.
More Good Day Chicago is next.
Is it at work? I'm attorney.